Casual. Today, we're going to be yet again continuing our division mock draft series. With today, we're going to be doing our AFC East mock draft. Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, and Bills. 3-round mock draft for all 4 of those teams today. And let's just get straight into it. We'll see who the Titans, Browns, and Giants take with their first 3 picks. They go Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter. I was hoping Abdul Carter could fall, but that did not happen. So now we're left here with pretty much, I think, McMillan or Will Campbell. The reason I'm not going to go Armand Membo is because if you missed out on the NFC East mock draft that we did Friday, you will notice that we took Armand Membo at 3. So I don't want to take the same pick 2 drafts in a row here at 3 and 4. So I'm probably going to go McMillan then, because I don't see them taking Will Campbell. I mean, if we look at the Patriots depth chart here, at receiver, they did just recently sign Stephon Diggs to a pretty big contract. But outside of him, you do got Demario Douglas, who I do like. I still think Kayshon Boutte and maybe even Boutte and maybe even, Polk or Baker could show potential. You still have Kendrick Bourne. You brought in Matt Collins. So, I mean, the receiver room is okay, but I feel like the only guy that's here for the long run that you trust is Demario Douglas, and I guess Diggs because he's on the team for 3 years. But all these other guys, you're not quite sure yet. And on the O-line, you have Morgan Moses at tackle. Vederian Lowe. And then at interior, you got Bradbury, who you're very happy with at your center. Mike Onwenu and Cole Strange. I mean, you could go Will Campbell because he could honestly probably play tackle and guard potentially in the NFL. So I'm not mad at Will Campbell to the Pats. But I think I'm going to go McMillan here because you need that bona fide top receiver for Drake May. So I'm going to go Tedoroy McMillan to the Patriots at 4. Jets are up at 7. Mason Graham went to the Jags, and the Raiders went with Jahdae Barron. So Jets depth chart, they obviously bring in guys like Justin Fields. They even bring in Josh Reynolds, Brandon Stevens, Andre Cisco to help out their secondary. But they didn't make a ton of big moves. They brought in, big players, but not a lot of them. So looking at the website still says they need QB, receiver, tackle, and D-line. I mean, yeah, I could see them getting a receiver because it's pretty much just Garrett Wilson and maybe Malachi Corley in terms of the future. I still believe Malachi Corley could be a decent receiver. At that tackle position, you did draft Olu Fashanu last year, but outside of that, you don't have much there. Again, they could draft quarterback still because they only signed Fields for a 2-year deal. And Shedeur is on the board, so I could see the Jets going with Shedeur here at 7, especially because you don't have to start him right away. So it's probably down to, you could go Tyler Warren. It's probably either Armand Membo, Tyler Warren, or I guess Shedeur Sanders. And since I don't really get Shedeur Sanders to the Jets a lot, do I go Shedeur? Because I really like Tyler Warren to the Jets because it's Jeremy Ruckert, Stone Smart, and Zach Kuntz as your tight ends. So I'm actually, I like Shedeur to the Jets because they're not committing to Fields, but I'm going Tyler Warren to the Jets. Dolphins are next at 13. Panthers went Genty. Saints went Membo. Bears Campbell. Niners Will Johnson. And the Cowboys Ezerokwo. So Dolphins are on the clock here. They do need O-line because you got Teron Armstead's really old. You signed James Daniels. Receivers you're probably okay at, especially because you picked up Westbrook Akine on a very good contract. So honestly, the only thing offensively they could go here is probably the O-line. And then defense, I mean, it says here they need D-line and corner. Because, yeah, corner outside of Jalen Ramsey, you don't got a lot. And then at D-line, you got Zach Seiler, who's okay. But are you really going to go with Kenneth Grant at 13? You could go safety as well. I know they did sign Melifonwu and Ashton Davis, who are okay safeties. So maybe you don't go Malachi Starks at 13. You probably don't go with the next best corner on here at least is Trey Amos at 40. You're not going him. I mean, if you're looking at best player available, it's probably like a Mykel Williams, a Jalen Walker, a James Pierce. Pretty much the edge rushers are the best players left. Or Kenneth Grant. I mean, pass rushers, you have Matt Dickerson, but he's a 3-4 D lineman, 3-4 edge rusher, whatever, D end. And then you have Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips. I like Jalen Phillips, obviously. He's really good. You're kind of good at linebackers, so you don't need to go Jahad Campbell because Brooks and Tyrell Dotson are very good linebacker room, especially with Willie Gay as well. I mean, Bradley Chubb is old, so you could replace Bradley Chubb with a guy like a Mykel Williams or a James Pierce. But honestly, I think you have to go O-line here if you can, because their O-line is not good. But looking at the linemen available, it's probably Gray Zabel or one of these two. Because at least with Gray Zabel, like I've mentioned many times, is he played tackle in college, but he's more built for a guard. So there's a chance he could give you quality reps at both in the NFL, which would obviously help the Dolphins out a lot. Will Johnson would have been perfect at 11. But you know what? I'm actually going to go Kenneth Grant here, I think. I just don't know if you go O-line at 13. So I'm going Kenneth with the O-lineman available. I'm going Kenneth Grant at 13 to the Dolphins. A lot of picks from now until the Bills. The Cardinals went Shedeur Sanders. That's interesting. But we're here with the Bills at 30. Says they need edge, linebacker, and corner. Obviously, we do know they need corner because you like what Benford and Taron Johnson can give you. But outside of that, you don't have a lot. Edge rusher, Joey Bosa isn't your long term, but you do got Greg Rousseau. Linebacker, you got guys like Bernard. It's a very old defense. Your young corner pieces are like Taron Johnson, Benford, Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, those type of guys. At receiver, you got Curtis, Shakir, Palmer, and Coleman, so you probably don't necessarily have to go receiver. You probably go defense here if you're the Bills. I mean, you do still have a guy like James Pierce available, and I don't see how you pass up on James Pierce if you're the Bills at 30. So I'm going to go ahead and get them James Pierce at 30. I think that's very good value. Patriots are next up at 38. We got them McMillan. So we got them a receiver threat to sort of join that group of solid receivers and Diggs. It says here they need a running back. I don't think you go with one of these backs here at 38. I do like Josh Connerly to the Patriots because their O-line's not the best. So I really like Josh Connerly to them because you got to help Drake May. You already got him a receiver. Why not get him a tackle? I'll go Josh Connerly at 38 out of Oregon. Jets at 42. We got them Tyler Warren last time. They need tackle, it says, but the tackles are kind of gone. The next best guy is Donovan Jackson. Could go Tyleik Williams. The quarterbacks, we did see Shedeur go to the Cardinals. And also Jackson Dart's also off the board. So you're probably not looking at QB here. I'm kind of leaning towards receiver because you still got Jack Beck and you still got Jaden Higgins. I like both of those guys. If we look at their depth chart, Garrett Wilson's an outside receiver, so you could probably you can draft either one. You need slot and outside. So I'm going to go Jack Beck to the Jets at 42. They just need to give Fields any help he can get, and they also need to give their future quarterback, because I don't think that is Fields necessarily, all he can get as well. Dolphins are next. We got them Kenneth Grant earlier. We mentioned Trey Amos to them. Obviously, it would have been a reach, but he did go at 47 to the Cardinals. I would have loved that pick here. I mean, you still got guys like Maxwell Hairston, Siobhan Revel, and the Dolphins do like their speed, and Maxwell Hairston can give you some speed. So I think it's either, well, they don't need Tyleik Williams anymore because they got Kenneth Grant. I actually really like Maxwell Hairston to the Dolphins here, because if we look at their depth chart, Jalen Ramsey is a boundary corner. So Maxwell Hairston is also a boundary corner. So you can have him and Jalen Ramsey on the outside with Kader Kahu as your nickel. So I'm going to go Maxwell Hairston also, again, because he fits that speed model that the Dolphins seem to love. Bills are up at 56. Got them James Pierce at 30. Could go Demetrius Knight. He's the best linebacker available and best player available, and they need linebacker. But I don't know if they necessarily need linebacker. Another team I like, corner. I like them to go corner, but do you go Benjamin Morrison? It's not the end of the world to go bench. But they do have pick 62, so maybe we hope that Morrison falls to us at 62, because that would be pretty good value. So I'm going to hold off on going him and hope he falls later in this second round. I mean, do we just go best player available and get him Demetrius Knight at linebacker? Because he's an actual linebacker. He plays in the box. He's not a D-line guy, because that would be two D-line guys with him and Pierce. But he's a true off-ball linebacker. So I'm going to go Demetrius Knight out of South Carolina. And look at that. Benjamin Morrison did not get picked. I think this is an easy pick. They need corner. He's ranked 66. He gets drafted on average at 66. And the Bills are up at 62. They're not going to be able to get him. Do they have another pick? They have no more picks in this draft. Let's get him a corner here. Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. All right, Patriots are up next. We got the McMillan and Connerly so far, going all offense right now. And I think it could continue here, because if we look at their running back room, it's Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. Not the best. And we know this running back class is stacked. However, there's that sort of second tier, because you got Genty at 1, Hampton in 2, and then it's like Scatabo and Sampson and the Ohio State guys, Caleb Johnson. And then it kind of gets to this next tier of like Harvey, Giddens, and Neal. But Sampson is still left here. I think this is perfect. Sort of complete that offense in terms of drafting. They need somebody. I think they need to move on from Ramondre Stevenson in terms of that number one back. And I think Sampson could be that out of Tennessee. Back-to-back Tennessee players, because Norman Lott went to the Raiders at 68. Jets at 73 are next. We got him a tight end and a receiver. And they need D-line. And Shamar Turner's right here. I think it's an easy pick. I'm not going to think twice about it. Give me Shamar Turner to the Jets at 73. They needed a position. He's the best player on the board. I think it's an easy pick. Patriots up at 77. Again, we kind of went over this recently, but here is the pick so far for the Patriots. Maybe we lean defense here because we went all offense. I mean, we could go guard because, their guards aren't great, but I don't hate their guards compared to their tackles. But on defense, I mean, I don't think you need to go secondary. I think their secondary is pretty good, especially with Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Gonzalez. Yeah, their secondary is set. Honestly, with Milton Williams and Barmore, their defense is pretty good as well. Maybe their linebackers could be the positions that use upgrading. So maybe you go Chris Paul here. Or you just go with another lineman and go with like a Wyatt Millum. You know what? Drake May needs all the help he can get protecting him, keeping him upright. We're actually going to go with a third straight tackle here. Give me Wyatt Millum out of West Virginia. And we have one more pick here. It's the Dolphins at 98. We got him Kenneth Grant, got him Maxwell Hairston. I think we got to go O-line if we can. Not going to go tackle here. I mean, you could go Anthony Belton or Willie Lampkin. Probably should have given them a lineman, even if it would have been a reach. Because I don't know who else you go here. I mean, speaking of speed, you can give him Tevez Johnson. I think you just got to give him a tackle here. I don't know too much about Anthony Belton, but I'll go with Mr. Belton out of NC State to the Dolphins at 98. They just need help at that O-line position. Quick recap of our picks here. We got Patriots went McMillan at 4. Jets went Tyler Warren at 7. Dolphins went Kenneth Grant at 13. Bills went James Pierce at 30. Patriots went Josh Connerly Jr. at 38. Jets went with Jack Beck at 42. Dolphins with Maxwell Hairston at 48. Bills at 56 went Demetrius Knight. Bills at 62 went Benjamin Morrison. Patriots at 69 went Dylan Sampson. Jets at 73 went Shamar Turner. Patriots at 77 went Wyatt Millum. And lastly, the Dolphins went Anthony Belton at 98. And that will conclude our mock draft, our AFC East mock draft. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. If you disagree or agree with any of the picks, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. Don't forget to also turn the notification bell on as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.